So why is nothing happening? I think exactly. So something should be happening. We need to get justice back being respected in this country. We need to make sure that there's not this two-tier system. It should be blind, and that's how justice works. It's irrelevant. Nobody is above the law. This is what they always say. The fact that Tommy Robinson's in jail, they say nobody's above the law because they had that situation about basically contempt of court. And there's a sort of misunderstanding about that. If they keep saying that sort of side, then Rachel Reeves cannot be above the law either.
Top barrister Stephen Barret has called for the Electoral Commission to investigate the Chancellor Rachel Reeves for her fake life, including those lies on her CV, which, by the way, the mainstream media don't seem to believe is a story. Rachel Reeves has been speaking to a whole load of journalists today, and for some reason, yet again, she got away with all of this. But Stephen Barret has posted on X, as she has chosen to display no personal honour, I am calling on the Electoral Commission to begin investigating Rachel Reeves. I invite others to join me. Thank you to those contacting me privately. These are serious issues and would be regardless of which party is involved. He added, there is no ignoring this. The Chancellor must resign. And the barrister, Stephen Barret, top barrister, joins me now alongside another barrister, like quite a double act, Andrew Eborn, who is also, of course, a broadcaster and futurist. So, Stephen Barret, tell me about this. You want the Electoral Commission to investigate. Why and how can that happen?
Yes, well, it's not a pleasant thing to have to do or to call for, but it is very important. It's fundamental to the rule of law that rules apply to everybody equally. And this isn't about a Labour Chancellor in particular. The same position would apply if it were a Conservative Chancellor. But I'm afraid, I think in our world, it wouldn't just be me calling for a Conservative Chancellor to be investigated. It would be an awful lot of others, and it probably would have happened by now, and that a Conservative Chancellor would have resigned by now. And I do worry that there is two-tier effectiveness in our country, and that nobody is paying as much attention to this simply because Rachel Reeves comes from the left. But these are absolute scandals. She has claimed to be an economist, and that she did that because that invokes her with a certain grandeur. It elevates her. It makes her sound more important and more able than she is. Now, it's not a regulated term, so I'm not going too far in all of this, but I do think that the Electoral Commission need to investigate. They are the body that looks into this. The other body would be the police, and some individuals have contacted me about the possibility of a private prosecution. I think that the Electoral Commission should investigate and get to the truth of where we are with the Chancellor. I do worry, Dan, that they're going to be really bureaucratic, and I'm going to have to actually write a letter to them and then attach all the Guido Fawkes articles. But honestly, we all know the information because we can all read Guido. So we all know this. The Electoral Commission will be fully aware of all of these allegations against Rachel Reeves. They really ought to be taking action independently now. But I'm afraid the regulatory world in which we live means that most regulators are cowards and sit there trying to do anything.
Stephen, can I just pick you up and ask you to explain how a private prosecution would potentially work?
Well, I worry about private prosecution, but I've been sort of persuaded,
because this is what Reform UK are doing with the Manchester.
Yes, but also it was what a vainglorious person did with Boris, and a rather unattentive judge allowed it through until a rather more attentive judge got rid of it. So it's a process that is capable of abuse. I broadly don't like politicization of the justice system. I'm broadly opposed to that. So I just have a tendency to lean away from it. But I think that it's perfectly valid to begin private prosecutions of politicians if the system is breaking down. If the system is operating free and fair and the rule of law is in good, fit and hale and hearty health, then you wouldn't need to do private prosecutions. I think at the moment that it would be better if the Electoral Commission, as the official regulator, investigated what has gone on. I do wonder quite why the Chancellor is clinging on. She's desperately unpopular for a number of reasons. But this is, I think, the type of scandal that when I was a child, when I was a young man, ministers resigned for without much fuss.
Without any doubt. Come on, we know if this was a minister in the last government, this would have been leading the news. And what I find absolutely disgusting is that the mainstream media have not put one question to Rachel Reeves, not one question to Keir Starmer. They're all in this together. They want to back her because she's the first female chancellor, effectively, and they don't want her to be hounded from office so quickly. They don't give a damn about the fact that Liz Truss was a highly successful female prime minister. Andrew Eborn, do you agree? I mean, you're a barrister too. Do you agree with Stephen Barret on this, or would you think a private prosecution could be an option?
I love the fact on your show, Dan, you've got a pair of briefs. I think it's glorious. And what I also love is that glorious video evidence that you showed of Rachel Reeves in your very studio at Outspoken. If people haven't seen that, they should have a look at that as well.
She's even claiming she once hosted this show. How outrageous!
I know. I saw it. I saw the evidence. The point is this, Dan, is that justice.
It's a very disturbing sight. Can I just clarify, by the way? Can I just clarify? Sorry to interrupt, Andrew, but some people actually thought that I dressed up as Rachel Reeves. I will clarify. It was AI.
I'll tell you what, it's the proper landscaping. I think that obviously shows how well it worked. It was going to be good.
But sorry, Andrew, I interrupted you with your serious point. Can there be a private prosecution?
Justice is supposed to be blind, as Steve said. You've got to turn around and say it's irrelevant whether you're on any political party. We need to get trust back in the justice system. It needs to be investigated, and it needs to be investigated now. If lies were told or untruths were told, we need to know about it, and appropriate action needs to be taken.
But they were told. Weren't they?
This is the thing. So why is nothing happening? I think exactly. So something should be happening. We need to get justice back being respected in this country. We need to make sure that there's not this two-tier system. It should be blind, and that's how justice works. It's irrelevant. Nobody is above the law. This is what they always say. The fact that Tommy Robinson's in jail, they say nobody's above the law because they had that situation about basically contempt of court. And there's a sort of misunderstanding about that. If they keep saying that sort of side, then Rachel Reeves cannot be above the law either.
Well, indeed. And look, the thing is, Stephen Barret, we're now in this extraordinary place where I'm seeing people across the left trying to say, oh, no, it's completely fine. She just told some white lies on her CV. That's fine. Okay, so they are our standards now, are they? Because those standards then have to apply across the board. And we know that won't be the case. But first, we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now, one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. They hardly make a dent on your appearance, and some can even be harmful to your skin, he said. Recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices. Why? So he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. It's almost like Photoshop for your face. You may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view, Lake told reporters. His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public, free and uninterrupted, where he outlines exactly how to use this simple solution from home. If this helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, I'll be thrilled knowing I helped, Dr. Lake commented. The video has since gone viral. At first, it was shared by users on Facebook, but since then, it's racked up over 2.3 million views and counting. So far, the comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One viewer even commented, "Best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are amazing. Thank you." So you can find out more about this yourself right now. Go to bhmd1.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description box below. So that's bhmd1.com/outspoken. Now, there is one thing Dr. Lake asks from his viewers. If watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. So go watch the video at bhmd1.com/outspoken right now, or just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show. We also remember, by the way, Stephen Barret, that this is a woman who plagiarized her book. So I don't just think the lies stop here. This is a woman who has cultivated quite a fake life, which is incredibly disturbing, given that I believe as Chancellor, she has already lied multiple times. She's lied about a £22 billion black hole, for example, partly because she was responsible for creating a lot of that black hole with her massive payoff to train drivers and other public sector workers. So this is a woman who seems to be a compulsive liar, which I find incredibly disturbing.
If that's true, we need to know. This is, we are still a great nation. She is Chancellor of our great nation. I mean, let's just go back to basics. She represents His Majesty the King. Her honour is His Majesty's honour. And that's why ministers resign when there is scandal. That's why Profumo resigned. That's why, countless ministers have resigned. And I don't just think it was the last government. I lived through the Blair governments and the Brown governments. And I think that a Blair minister would have resigned by now too. What we're seeing, I actually have deep sympathy with my friends who are Labour supporters, because this aberration of a government, I've never seen anything like it before, and it seems to have absolutely no shame. So we're going back to the
speaking of no shame, we just saw Mariana Spring there. She is the BBC's disinformation expert, okay, and she's in charge of this BBC Verify unit. Now, Andrew Eborn, not surprisingly, they have been very quiet on this story. Do you think it's possible because Mariana Spring was also exposed for lying on her CV? There seems to be a bit of a track record.
Well, it's an interesting one. And I as you know, I appear on more platforms than Paddington, including the BBC. So I've got a lot of time for some of them. The reality is, in order to get trust back, and trust in the BBC is also at an all-time low, they need to make sure that BBC Verify, which is actually a very good service, needs to be consistent across the board.
I don't think it's a very good service, Stephen Barret. Do you? I don't trust it for 1 second.
It's too much power in one place, and we need to relearn that power corrupts us humans. I mean, I see on Twitter sometimes a lot of people, they're like, you should be in charge, and they offer me power, and I'm afraid I have to be like Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings and go, no, don't give it to me either. It will.
You do have Gandalf's long hair.
He does. It's got to be good. Some more manscaping needed. He wouldn't have needed the wig for Rachel Reeves.
But we do need to just be aware that power corrupts, and not assume that Mariana Spring is going to use her, colossal and shattering power over what is and is not truth, just independently and with great virtue. She's not going to, because none of us would.
Yeah. I love the fact that every time I mention about Rachel Reeves coming on Outspoken, they pull up that glorious picture of you, Dan. It looks wonderful. Never in the same room. It's got to be good. No, it's absolutely right. There are some things which are very good about BBC Verify. My point is they have to be consistent. You've highlighted one area where there is that inconsistency, so we need to look at that again.
Yeah, I just think if you're trusting the BBC to tell you what's true or not, you're in trouble. That's my view. But what a duo. What a fabulous double act. Andrew Eborn, Stephen Barret, and of course, Stephen, one of our best legal brains, has fascinating analysis all day long on X. And Andrew Eborn, your show is back. Where can we listen to it?
On more platforms than Paddington. I pop up all over the places on several stations. Virtually every station you've mentioned today, I've been on. I'm on Times Radio again tomorrow. I was on with Errol Musker, say, every single day. You get the Andrew Eborn show. You can subscribe on YouTube. Go and do that now.
Well, look, I want to listen to you independently when you're with Errol. I think that's the best place, because then you don't have the terrible mainstream media gatekeepers around. But Stephen Barret, Andrew Eborn, such a pleasure to have you both here on the Superstar panel again today. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.